Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I am so excited to be doing this video. So this is a little bit different. This is a little bit different from just talking about my favorites, my favorite products in every category, my favorite brands. So this is a video where I'm going to be crowning the category queens of luxury beauty by identifying the one brand that reigns supreme for every single category. So this is a video I think that's perfect for people who are getting into luxury beauty, for those of you who really love luxury beauty, but you're tired of like trying out all of these different products and wasting your money. And I'm also hoping to maybe create a little bit of conversation. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me down below in the comment section, but I really wanted to make a fun video where we're just really kind of talking about makeup, the things that we love, and diving deep. So what I really am trying to hone in on in this video is what brand really does, for example, really does foundations really, really well. Which luxury beauty brand I think has the best foundations out there? That's where they really, really shine. Or eyeshadows. Who does the best eyeshadows? Who can you count on for the best eyeshadows? Every eyeshadow release they come out with is at least very, very decent. So I do think this is going to be a little bit different from just plain old favorites, but there will, of course, be some overlap. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to be applying some of these products as I'm talking about them, and I do want to start with primers. So when it comes to primers in the luxury space, the first brand that I thought of was Sisley. Because if you guys remember a few years back, that double tensor primer basically took beauty YouTube by storm. It was something that was great for smoothing out your complexion. It had a special kind of grip to it that everyone seemed to love. It really, really helped the longevity of your makeup. That primer I didn't necessarily get into because I have drier skin. I think that particular primer is great for like normal to oily skin. Of course, there are other luxury brands that have really wonderful primers out there, like the Hourglass Veil primer. I know those with like normal to oilier skin, they really, really love that primer. But I feel like when I hear about primers, that's the only one that Hourglass has come out with that I think has become like an iconic product. Well, for Sisley, I really, really have been loving, and I'm hearing people really love this particular primer. This is their Phyto 10 primer in Glow. They do even have like a matte version of this. So now, of course, when I think of primers in the luxury space, I think of Sisley. So I do know Sisley has been kind of like slowly redoing their line, it looks like, or at least coming out with new products with like new packaging. Everything kind of has like a new look to it. And I'm wondering if they're going to be at least repackaging the double tensor, because like I said, that is such an iconic product for them, but that product hasn't been touched in a very, very long time. So I do wonder if they're going to be at least repackaging, maybe reformulating, who knows? So I'm going to go ahead and apply this Glow primer. And please, like I mentioned in the intro, if there is a brand that you feel like really, really every time they come out with a primer, you look forward to it, you try it, and you absolutely love it, let me know down below. I couldn't come up with another luxury brand that came out with at least a couple of primers that I thought were really, really good. Okay, so there is the Glow primer. Isn't that so great? This is such a great primer if you have drier skin and if you like a little bit of glow to your complexion. This is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so that is primers. Okay, so next, foundations. This was really, really tough. As you can imagine, these luxury beauty brands, they have quite a number of foundations, and I had a really, really hard time choosing. And I will tell you, the two that were sort of fighting neck and neck for first place, and that is Chantecaille and Chanel. And I went with Chantecaille. Chanel, I think, just has a really large selection of foundations. I love their Water Fresh tint. I love their Sublimage. I love so many. I love their #1 De Chanel foundation with the camellia oil. So many of their foundations are so, so great, but a lot of them are misses for me too. And I asked myself, you know, when Chanel comes out with a new foundation, am I just really excited? Do I think they're just going to hit out of the park, or am I a little bit skeptical? I want to try it. I want to make sure it's going to work for me. I want to check out other reviews, see, you know, people with different skin types, are they enjoying it? And I tend to be a little bit more skeptical, but Chantecaille When they come out with a foundation, I'm just excited. I feel like I just know that their foundation is going to be stellar. And even when they reformulated 2 of their foundations, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. I wasn't, as you guys know, I get very, very skeptical when these brands reformulate. I'm like, oh no. Why did they fix something that wasn't broken? Why are they trying to improve something that needs no improvement? But when they came out with the new Just Skin and the Future Skin Foundation, the gel oil-free foundation, I was like, yes, yes. And what I think I also really appreciate is that they basically have 3 foundations, and then they have one that is like a powder, like a compact powder foundation, which I don't have. I think that is probably better for oilier skin. But they've got these 3 foundations. So you don't have this like decision fatigue trying to figure out and go through a gazillion different foundations to try and figure out what your favorite one is, what the best one is. They're very sort of clearly defined. The Future Skin Foundation, this is gel-based, it's oil-free, so this is really great if you do have oilier skin. This is one that I really like in the summertime because it doesn't get too shiny. It's very consistent throughout the day. It has a really cooling feeling. I really, really love this. The Just Skin tinted moisturizer, this has SPF 15. I think this has a little bit more coverage, a little bit more coverage than a typical tinted moisturizer, but you can build it up. You can even thin it out if you want to apply it with a sponge, a dampened sponge. This is a really, really great every season, every day base product that just really kind of perfects your skin. And then they have the Cushion Foundation, which is incredible. I love this Cushion Foundation. It looks really flawless on the skin. I would say right off the bat, this has a little bit more coverage than either of these, but it's just glorious on the skin. So yeah, when it comes to Chantecaille, if they were to ever come out with a brand new foundation, I would be like first one in line, getting it on the day of the release. And they actually just came out with a concealer. You guys, their bio-lifting concealer. And they have not come out with a new concealer in a long time. They have that Le Camouflage Stilo. It's that pen with the brush tip. I really like that concealer, but yeah, they just haven't come out with a new concealer in a long time. And I've been trying other concealers, but they've just come out with a bio-lifting concealer. And I could not be more excited because they just do base products so well. So I'm trying to decide which one to use because I love these all so much. I'm trying to decide which one to use. I just used the Sicily Cushion Foundation, which is also fantastic. And if it was a little bit warmer out, we're still going through kind of like a cooler spell here in Vegas. It's crazy. I love it. But if it was a little bit warmer out, I think I would use the Future Skin oil-free gel foundation, but I think I'm gonna go in with the Just Skin tinted moisturizer. So I have this in shade Bliss. And by the way, these 2 I have in shade Alabaster. And when they reformulated, I think that they kind of redid their shades and they're so much better. I remember when I first started using Chantecaille, you know, a gazillion years ago, a lot of their foundations, they felt a little bit too warm and maybe even a little bit too yellow on my skin. But now, like, I feel like their neutrals are really neutral and I feel like they've really kind of perfected the tones. Just gonna squeeze some out onto the back of my hand. I'm gonna use my Westman Atelier blender brush. This is probably the base product with a skin-like finish that I like the most. A lot of times, skin-like, for some reason, it ends up looking a little bit dry on my skin, but there's something very luminous about this Just Skin tinted moisturizer. It really looks gorgeous. And it's not because I'm just putting it over the Sicily Glow Primer. I, of course, have used this Just Skin tinted moisturizer over nothing, over other primers. It really has a very, very natural finish with just a slight hint of luminosity. There, isn't that so pretty? So, so pretty. I don't feel like I look especially glowy. My skin doesn't look matte or dry or velvety. It really is like my skin, but better. So lovely. And I can say that for all of their foundations. Okay, concealers. I bet you guys think I'm gonna say Dior, don't ya? But we're not talking about my favorites. And you know, the Forever Skin Correct Concealer, that is one of my all-time favorites. But I have tried other Dior concealers, and the one that comes to mind is it the Backstage one? It comes in the clear tube. It has a silver top, it's sort of rounded. Anyway, I don't like that concealer. I don't think that concealer is very flattering. And I remember it sinking into my fine lines, and I just was not a fan of that concealer. And I may be in the minority on that, absolutely. But the one brand that I feel like always comes out with a fantastic concealer is Peau. They are known for their stick concealers. They also have that pen. It's like a concealer slash brightener. It's got the brush tip. I used to have it. I've decluttered it because I had that one pen for a very, very long time. But recently I've actually been missing that pen and I'm like, I should really go out and get another one. I probably need a new shade also because I have gotten paler the older I've gotten. But I have two shades from the Clé de Peau concealer that work very, very well for me. Ivory, which is the lightest shade. And then if you skip a shade, if you have a similar skin tone to me, if you skip a shade and go with shade number 3, beige, you'll get back into more of a neutral, slightly cooler tone concealer, where number 2, I can't remember the name of it. Is it almond? Or is that even deeper? But number 2 actually has a neutral, like slightly warmer leaning tone to it. So I like 1 and 3 for my skin tone. But I really like the Clé de Peau selection. It's trimmed down. And again, I asked myself, if Clé de Peau were to come out with another concealer tomorrow, would I be excited or would I be skeptical? And I would hands down absolutely be so excited because I would just know their concealer would just be hitting it out of the park. Now, some other brands I did consider, like I mentioned, Dior. There is also Surratt. I love the Surratt Dewdrop Concealer. That one is so great. That one comes in a pen. They do also have a wonderful stick concealer, but I do think Clé de Peau stick concealer is a little bit more successful than the Surratt. So yeah, if I were to sort of like equate luxury beauty with a concealer, I would come up with Clé de Peau. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually use number 3, beige, in their concealer. And this is concealer N. It has SPF 27 in there. I think for those of you who have tried this stick concealer, I think you can all agree that this is a surprisingly flawless concealer. I feel like when it comes to stick concealers, they can either feel too thick, a little bit too grabby onto like texture, or they can feel like a little bit too slick, a little bit too silicone. And then I feel like by the end of the day, my skin looks really, really dry. But this concealer, I don't know, the formula is just absolutely magic, but it does sort of glide on like a very silicone type of concealer, but it doesn't feel drying. It's not too thick. It's not too cakey. And the coverage is absolutely incredible. Just gonna swipe right down here. And I'm actually just gonna use my finger. But can you see the beige? It has like a little slight hint of pink in there. And I feel like that just works better for my skin tone. Yeah, this just like melts right onto your skin. So concealers definitely goes to Clé de Peau. Okay, powders. You guys know what I'm gonna say because this actually is my favorite powder. And I do think that this company does the absolute best powders. I feel like any powder that they've come out with, I've tried it and I've loved it. And I have unfortunately decluttered quite a bit, but I am left with 2. It is Kogendo. So I'm holding up the Natural Lighting Powder, which is my all-time favorite loose powder. And they just recently came out with the powder, which comes in what I thought was gonna be a loose powder, but it's actually a pressed powder in here. And this powder has so many skincare benefits in there that some people actually put this on as part of their nighttime skincare routine. Crazy. So that's the powder. I've also tried their Sheer Moist powder, which is it's like a cool feeling powder. It's one of those powders that has like moisture in the powder. Really gorgeous. Another powder that sets down your makeup and just leaves your complexion looking really, really flawless, really filtered. And then they have that pressed powder with the swirls in it. That gives you a really gorgeous glow. That one is great if you like a glowy complexion. It's also great for a finishing powder if you want to buff that in. Oh my gosh, that one is absolutely divine. But this Natural Lighting Powder is absolutely incredible. It sets down your makeup. It definitely does bring shine down, but it leaves your skin looking so soft, so filtered and creamy so that it doesn't look dry at all. It is absolutely divine. And I feel like anytime I try a powder, I'm comparing it to this one. Is it better? Is it worse? And always, I feel like, oh, this comes pretty close, but this is still better. And Kogendo is absolutely a brand. If they were to come out with a new powder tomorrow, I would be the first one in line to get it and to try it out. And this powder, despite its appearance, actually feels really great on the skin. When I first opened this up, I was like, oh, that looks dry. That looks dry as hell, but it looks fantastic on the skin. And it does take a bit for it to kind of settle down. So I'm gonna apply the powder because you guys have seen me use this powder 1,000 times. Okay, I'm just gonna use my Hourglass powder brush here. Look at how soft that powder is, right? It's brought down the shine, but I still have a little bit of glow. Look at how soft and filtered my skin looks, and it's gonna look even better in about 5 minutes when the powder really kind of settles down. It's really miraculous. So Kogendo, definitely the reigning queen of powders. Okay, bronzers and contours. Can you guys guess who I'm gonna say? Tom Ford. I love the Tom Ford bronzers. I love the shade in Illuminate, which is a fantastic contour. But let me mention some other brands that I had taken into consideration. Westman Atelier, because I love, love, love those Suntone bronzing drops. I love the Suntone Duo. However, I do not like their butter bronzer, the one that comes in the compact. That's basically their powder bronzer. I just don't think it's a great formula. It hard pans. They even, I believe, reformulated it once. They extended the shade range, and it's a little bit better, but it's still not great, and I feel like it applies in a little bit of a blotchy way. Just not my favorite. Dior, I love the sticks that they've come out with, the contour stick, the bronzer stick. I think those are great. Their powder bronzers, they're okay, but they came out with the small ones, then they came out with the large ones. The large ones were at Sephora. I found those to be a little bit too warm, or they should have created some shades that kind of went between neutral and warm, because I know it's a bronzer, it's not a contour. But yeah, I just didn't really like the shades. They were different from the smaller compacts. And then I feel like their best bronzers are limited edition, the ones that they come out with, the pink bronze and the coral bronze for their Dior Riviera collection. Those are limited edition. I hate that. Don't give me your best products as limited edition. That to me makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And then Chanel's bronzers, I like them, but they never really kind of like blow my skirt up. Chantecaille had one of my favorite bronzers, that baked gel bronzer in Goa. That was really, really great, but I believe that was limited edition. That may be going away. Sicily, you guys know, I love, love, love their baked gel bronzer. They just came out with like a new version of it. I don't know if they're getting rid of the old one, but the new version is absolutely fantastic. That's the only bronzer of theirs that really stands out. They have the bronze shade of their pressed powder. That one's very, very nice, but it definitely does not beat the Tom Ford. And Tom Ford, I believe, has consistently come out with really great bronzers. When they first came out with the bronzer in the big white compact, the Gold Dust, that first one, it was bronze. It had a little bit of gold flecks in there. Everyone had to get it. Everyone had to have a piece of Gold Dust, and it was great. Their second iteration of those bronzers, not so great. It was a baked powder. You had to use a really dense brush. I don't think most people could like figure out how to use it properly, and it just wasn't great. It wasn't a great formula. But then the formula after that was absolutely fantastic. And then I do really like their latest iteration of the bronzing powder, and I do have it in the shade Corsica. It's a really nice soft powder. It blends out beautifully. The tone is a very nice bronzer tone. It's warm with like a little bit of peach in there. Their shade in Illuminate is so gorgeous. The formula is so great. It just works really, really beautifully as like a subtle contour. It's not too gray where it ends up being too dramatic. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And when Tom Ford just recently started kind of like redoing their line, I was like, they better come out with that bronzer, because they redid their blushes, right? They came out with the Architect blushes, and then they redid their eyeshadow quads. I remember thinking, I was like, oh, they better come out with new bronzers for the summertime, because I know it's gonna be good. So anyway, let me go ahead and apply some of the Corsica. Okay, I'm using my BK Beauty Nikki LaRose N18. Yeah, N18 brush. It's a big fluffy fan brush. I'm gonna go into Corsica. Oh, I haven't taken the sticker off of this mirror yet. Let's do that together. So satisfying. Always just blends out like a dream. These almost feel like a powder to cream formula where they just sort of melt onto the skin. So good. I felt this way about their previous version. I don't think they actually changed too much of the formula between this version and the previous version, and I loved the previous version. Okay, when it comes to blushes, I feel like there is just no one better than Chanel. They have almost every kind of formula possible, and while I feel like there have been some missteps, I feel like they kind of course corrected. So their powder blush, I think, was one of their iconic products. It had been around forever. They had a ton of different shades. The formula was wonderful. It was a really beautiful, like baked powder formula. Loved it, absolutely loved it. And then they reformulated it, and it was not that great. But then they reformulated it again. And I think it is much, much better. So they course corrected with the powder blush. I'm so happy about that. And then they even have a cream to powder blush. I love these cream to powder blushes. They're gorgeous. The formula is so great. And I remember they came out with these before they reformulated the powder blush. And I was like, they better make it up to us. They better make it up to us with these cream to powder blushes. And they really did. And then they've got their sticks. These are gorgeous. They have a really, really nice formula where they're not too emollient. They have a little bit of a powdery feeling, so they're very, very long lasting. But a lot of the formulas have a little bit of shimmer to them, so they just glow. They just make your cheeks look really ethereal. And then they even came out with the Le Beige, the Water Fresh blushes, which I thought was so brilliant. Just a nice play off of their Water Fresh tint. Same idea, a water-based product with the pigments in these little beads that break up. So they're just really refreshing. And I thought maybe these would be kind of gimmicky, but they go on beautifully, really, really beautifully. And then they even have in a tube some blushes. Now this just came out as part of their summer collection. And I believe it's limited edition, but I really hope they keep some sort of like liquid blush in their collection because these are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love, love, love the formula. There's a density to them, but they're not like thick and dry. I feel like a lot of cream or liquid products, if they're thick, they feel a little bit drier. These just have a really nice, like slick feel to them. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I don't think anyone in the luxury beauty space can compete with Chanel when it comes to blushes. And in fact, I'm having a hard time deciding which I want to put on. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to put on? I'm going to put on the powder blush because I feel like I have fallen out of the habit of using these powder blushes because of that bad reformulation. And when I went out and got Jersey, this color again, when I heard they had reformulated, I was so, so happy with this reformulation. I was like, oh my God, I feel like they're kind of back. They're kind of back to where they were. So I'm going to use this little Chanel little kabuki brush. Oh, they just blend out beautifully. This Jersey shade is so gorgeous. Yeah, I really have to use these blushes more often and maybe start repurchasing like all the shades that I had gotten rid of. But Chanel, most definitely, the reigning queen of blushes. Okay, as for highlight, this again was also very tough because I have some like favorite ride or die products like the Sisley, the new Orchid highlighter. That for sure is like a ride or die. The Tom Ford highlighters, really, really lovely. I even love some of their Hermes highlighters. Those are really nice. But I think the one company, the one brand that comes to mind when I think of highlighters or when they come out with a highlighting product, I'm like all ears. I am like at attention. And that's Hourglass. Hourglass came out with these Unreal liquid highlighters that are unreal, really, really gorgeous, absolutely stunning. But their powder highlighters are incredible. I mean, I think we can all agree. And they have like highlighters and then they have finishing powders with a little bit of sheen. So if you want something a little bit lighter. So I know Hourglass includes like in these ambient lighting palettes, they include a lot of like exclusive products. So the one highlighter they have that's part of their regular collection is the ambient strobe lighting powder. And they have 4 shades. They have incandescent, iridescent, euphoric, and brilliant. And in their blush and glow lighting palette, they have incandescent strobe light. So I'm gonna use that. That's this powder up here. And I'm gonna use their ambient lighting brush. I've actually never used this brush before, but I really do like Hourglass blushes, so I thought I would try it. All right, I'm gonna go into incandescent strobe light. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I feel like now that highlight or like a stronger makeup look is kind of coming back. We're moving away from that clean girl aesthetic and like makeup looks are becoming a little bit more bold, a little bit more bold again. I wonder if they're gonna come back out with their metallic strobe lighting powder because that was a highlight. That was a really, really bright highlight. These incandescent ones are lovely, lovely. They're really, really beautiful, I think, for the everyday. But if you like a really strong highlight, those were incredible. Do you remember when they first came out with them? It was in the silver compact with 3 powders. I mean, those were like powder metal, basically. There really is something so special about these Hourglass powders. Really beautiful. All right, that's my pick for highlighters, Hourglass. And the absolute queen of eyeshadows, I don't think anyone is surprised at this, but Natasha Denona. Anytime she comes out with an eyeshadow palette, I'm like, yes, sign me up. Sign me up, I wanna try it. Even if the color story isn't one that I would normally gravitate towards, I'm like, gotta try it, I gotta try it. So I'm holding up her Eye Sculpt Texture and Tone palette in Soft. And I really like how she responded to the market, because she had come out with those larger palettes, right? She had come out with like the 5 pans. Then she had the huge 28 pan palettes. Those were quite pricey, and she made those a little bit smaller, but they were still, what, 120, 125, those 15 pan palettes. And then she made them a little bit smaller, and they were, I think they started at about $60 or $65. I think now they're $68, $69. She made those her midi palettes, and those are so popular because it's a price that you can kind of digest, and so rarely do we pan eyeshadows at this point. So it just really gave us the same idea of those larger 15 pan palettes in something a little bit smaller, and they're just great. And she continues to come out with different sizes, different themes, different ideas, different purposes for her eyeshadows, but all of her formulas are so great. And I really do just appreciate how she listens. I think sometimes she's gotten some criticism for some other formulas that she's had. She just quickly redoes them. She comes out with like a new version of it. I think it's just wonderful. And I get very, very excited by her eyeshadow palettes, not only because of, you know, her reputation, the experience that I've had, the formulas that I really enjoy, but that every single time I open up one of her palettes, I'm inspired. I'm really, really inspired by the layout and the arrangement of the shades, and also the different finishes that she has and the variety. So anyway, I just can't say enough good things about the Natasha Denona eyeshadows. I think they're really, really fantastic. So I'm just gonna go in and do a fairly simple look with this Soft palette. I'm gonna take this Ilia blending brush, and I'm gonna go into C2 and brush that all over. I'm gonna take my Refer number 14 brush, this smaller blender brush. I'm gonna go into, I think I'm gonna do N1 up here, because it has a little bit of shimmer, and just add this to the outer corner. I don't know why I did this. I picked really cool eyeshadow tones, and my cheeks are fairly warm from that Jersey Chanel blush. So I'm actually gonna go in and pick up a warmer shade, a warmer shade to kind of like warm up my eyes here. I'm gonna go into P1, this peach shade, and just dust this over the inner corner center of my eye. Just warm it up a little bit. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's fine. So, Natasha Denona for eyeshadows, I don't think anyone would argue with me. All right, I'm gonna curl my lashes. And I didn't have much to say in regards to eyeliner. I mean, you guys know my favorites. I love the Prada, but like a lot of companies, they just have like one eyeliner. Maybe they have two formulas, but I don't know. I just didn't think that was a category worth mentioning. So we're gonna just move on over into mascara. And I mean, I think when I think of mascaras, I think of Lancome. They just have a ton of different mascaras. I really, really love their Lashy Doll. I've been using their Lashy Doll Flutter extension. They have now Lashy Doll Waterproof. They just extended it from just, you know, having a black shade to a brown shade. And then of course they have a ton of other mascaras. And I'm sure most of you out there have like a favorite Lancome mascara. They've just been doing it really well for a very, very long time. Excuse me. And I just don't think many other luxury brands have like incredible mascaras. I mean, maybe Chanel, and I do like Chanel comes out with like a lot of different colors, but those generally are limited edition. I do love Tom Ford mascaras, but they've discontinued so many of their good ones. We'll see what they come back out with. So I'm gonna go with Lancome, and I'm gonna use this Lashy Doll Flutter extension. And I just have this goofy kind of deluxe sample of theirs, which I think is just getting on. So I think I have just the regular Lashy Doll mascara in my backup drawer that I need to pull out. Okay, I am gonna apply some of the Prada eyeliner in Ember. This has been my favorite eyeliner of late. Okay, and for lip products, I really didn't want to double up on brands. I'm like, I know there's a lot of brands out there that have really, really great lip products. I keep mentioning Chanel. Chanel is a great one. You guys know how much I love the Rouge Coco gloss. I love their regular straight up, their cream lipstick. You guys know how much I love the Rouge Coco gloss. I think YSL has a ton, a ton of lip products. In fact, so many that I get confused. So that kind of turned into a ding against them. I'm like, I don't even know the difference between all of these different like gloss and stick options anymore. And I know there's slight differences between all of them, but it's too much. It's too much. It's very, very confusing. The Dior lip products, I really like the way they look, but I don't like the fragrance in them. Anyway, we started with them, so we're gonna end with them. Chantecaille. I love their lip products. All of their lip products feel like they should be skincare. Their lip cheeks and their lip veils, most definitely. They are so comfortable on the lips. They are the original balm and stick formula. Incredible. The pigmentation is really, really great. Not too light, not too heavy. And then they just came out with those lip cremes, which is just their straight up like cream lipstick, and it is phenomenal, phenomenal. The color range is phenomenal. The formula is incredible. The packaging is lovely. Like everything about it is great. And I love their brilliant lip glosses. They have a little bit of shimmer to them, a little bit of sheen. They have shade options that are just like a straight up gloss without any of the shimmer. I mean, just really, really beautiful, impeccably formulated lip products. So yeah, I'm sitting here holding a bunch up and I'm trying to figure out which one I want to hold up. I think I'm gonna go back to an oldie but goodie. This is the lip veil in Baobab. So the lip veils are described as a luminous, hydrating color. The lip cheeks are a lightweight, glossy lipstick. And then the lip cremes are creamy, full coverage lipstick with a glossy finish. Yeah, I've got Baobab here in the lip veil. So there's a lip veil in Baobab. Comfortable, 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 and it leaves my lips feeling better than before, which I can't say for a lot of lipsticks. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun to make. It was really, really fun for me to sit down and really think about who I would reign the queen of a particular makeup category. So again, please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Would love to hear if you agree, if you disagree, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.